Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus the Riven Realms. We found the final head, maybe the final head? A head of the Leviathan. It's in this tiny little nook. So if you're looking for it and you're like, where the heck do I go? There's Tectum Kelvar to the west, there's the Twin Towers to the east. Follow the mountain path and it'll be tucked in here into the mountains before. I remember coming back this way from a different mission and remembering it, and I thought that was odd. And sure enough, you come in here, and lo and behold, the Cepus Mountains loom larger and larger ahead as the Comitatus draws closer to them. This is an especially desolate region. Not much dwells here, if anything at all. In the distance, the serrated peaks of the mountains gradually slope down and become foothills, then finally give way to a vast, dark plain stretching as far as the eye can see. Its full scope concealed by a gloomy haze to the southwest, the singing winds. Kandake's flame spy, I almost said fly spy, begins to glow gently, leading you up the mountainside. Follow the flame spy. Following the artifact, you come upon the narrow entrance of a small valley. This must be it. You recognize the place from your vision back in Camp Colossus. Long and deep, the shadowy vale stretches from the north-facing slope of the Cepus Mountains towards the plains where you now stand. You ascend for an hour along a dry stream bed. The valley is not too large and quite void of vegetation, so you have no real difficulty spying the one landmark that sticks out from the rock face on the west. It is a domed structure of some sort, simply too regular in its shape to be natural. Also, the flame spy shines with a veritable golden light as you hold it out into its general direction. Approach the structure. As you get closer, you can see that it is indeed some kind of an artificial structure, albeit one with architectural style you fail to recognize. Built right next to the valley's vertical rock face is a huge dome of light stone sitting on a 20-yard circular building, old but not damaged. At the top of a set of stairs, and a single arched entrance yawns at you, facing the valley from where you approach. It does not seem to be obstructed in any way, which only adds to the overall eeriness of the sight. A great silence hangs over the valley. Only the flame spy hums gently. This is where the Comitatus stops. There is no point in endangering anyone other than your toughest companions. Let's try the magical senses, shall we? We failed. Sorceress senses probe its arcane perimeter, its aura, and from the very first moment it is evident that there is something here, something huge, potent, by now more familiar yet somehow vague, like an old scent half remembered from childhood. But apart from that, you are unable to discern anything more specific. I assume that means the skull is here. How did you guys get hurt? You're not that hurt. You're just a little hurt. Alright. We can only take 5 people. So we'll take the A squad and then go in. As you enter through the archway and step into a large circular room spanning the whole interior. The floor and the inner walls are perfectly smooth and absolutely featureless. No carvings, no murals, no tessellations of any kind. Whatever this building is, it was designed to be purely functional. In the center of the room is a wide hole. Edging closer to it and peeking over the edge, you spot a narrow stairway winding along the shaft's walls, ever downward into a great abyss. The shaft is mostly dark, but you think you can see a glimmer of light emanating from the very bottom, many stories below. We will descend the stairs. You try the topmost stone steps with your foot carefully, and they seem stable. Waving your companions to follow, you start your descent. At first there is only darkness as you make your way along the shaft's wall into the unknown below. You soon lose sight of the ledge above without seeing where exactly you are heading, except for the faint golden glimmer rising from the bottom. Just like within the dome, the walls lining the stairs are featureless too. Not even a tiny crack to hold onto should you slip and fall. But you don't. Even though you grow slightly dizzy from constantly moving in circles, you manage to cling to the wall, and after some time, by now you've lost count of the steps, you begin to see more clearly. The golden light from down under grows stronger. Australia? Shrouding your companions' faces and your own with a ghostly veil. Now you're able to make out what's at the bottom of the pit. What lies there coiled? Oh no. It is like a gargantuan worm, larger than any living creature you've ever seen. Its countless scales are golden, shining with an inner light fit to penetrate the shrouding gloom of the pit. Its long serpentine body lies curled in repose, the elegant reptilian head and slender foreclaws rested upon an enormous piece of bleak bone, a skull of the creature's own kind, a dragon guarding the remains of another. Time you came, small one. Let me take my leave. Oh, they're just gonna leave. That voice again, warm, friendly, yet burdened by something underneath. but by some kind of urgency, panic. Your instincts tell you to turn and run, but even if you wanted to, even if you weren't strangely compelled to stay, hypnotized by this magnificent beast's sheer sight alone, by now it is too late. The dragon stirs and lifts its majestic head slowly and looks straight at you with glowing eyes. The beast tilts its huge head, and single emerald eye is now on the same level as your head, and just as big. You can't help but press your back against the wall, trying not to lose your footing on the narrow steps, while a small voice inside of your head shrieks, "Run!" But now, you know that would be no use at all. The dragon blinks once, twice, almost drowsily, and then lets out a long, slow whiff of sulphurous air from its nostrils, almost enough to blow you away. Am I? It speaks with a voice like shifting mountains, like imminent thunder. Am I Praestagor, the one who waits? Am I awake? Yes? The creature poses no question. It regards you with a detached curiosity one might consider an errant cockroach with. Yet you somehow feel obliged to justify your presence. As you involuntarily glimpse down, you can see that its claws and its tail slowly tighten around the skull it is guarding. Help me leave, the Leviathan's voice whispers in your head. The dragon blinks again, clearly waiting for some kind of response. You swallow and gather your wits, trying to summon the courage to speak. When you finally manage, the golden dragon Praestagor slightly slouches its enormous head as if to hear you better. You introduce yourself briefly and follow up by, asking if it knows anything about the winds? Trying to get a sense of the surroundings and Praestagor by means of magical perception. The dragon's dominant golden aura shines like a midday sun in the darkness, yet it pulsates weakly, growing noticeably dimmer at short, irregular intervals, like a heart that has difficulty beating. It is intertwined with a multitude of many-colored strands, clutching its branches like ivy. Its roots seem to be the skull, lying in the dragon's embrace. Take me home, small one, the Leviathan whispers. There's something else you wanted to ask, Praestagor. We gained insight. Cool. Ask if it knows anything about the winds? Ah, that upheaval. I sensed it. I dreamt of it. I heard the scream. I felt the earth shake as the wrath of Caravan rose in furious discontent. Something was taken from there. What lay buried became unearthed. Once again, the singing winds are her domain, yet this does not concern the brood. It lets out a long hiss, maybe a sigh. I grow weary. If you would ask more of me, ask, else be gone. Tell it you need the skull. Give it to you. The dragon's voice rises to an outraged roar, and for a terrible moment you are certain it will open its great maw to devour you. But then it coils its serpentine net back to regard you from a bit further afar. Why would I, impertinent mortal? You know not what you ask. It continues more calmly. Are you imagining it, or does the strange shimmer in its eyes suggest it be considering the notion in earnest? Try to convince it to give the skull up. Taking the skull would lead to learning more about the past. Taking the skull would let Praestagor free from its obsolete duty, ending its imprisonment, or taking the skull would make it possible to commune with the Leviathan, a wise and powerful being. Let's end its imprisonment? He ponders this. Even so, it narrows its huge reptilian eye. Why would you be a better caretaker than I? You are powerful in your own right and can defend it. I think he's going to attack us if we say that. You will be very careful. You swear to Praestagor that you will strive to prevent the unwhole from re-emerging. I don't know what that is. Claim you have powerful allies who you can trust, or you will respect the skull, the part of the mighty and wise Leviathan. I see. And what do you gain from all of this, mortal? Why is it so important to you? You work for a scholar to test a theory, and you are also curious. You wish to see the Golden One resurrected. It finally turns to you with an answer. Oh, damn. I wish I could give it up. Indeed, I've been guarding it for too long. Too long. And for what? The brood won't come. Yet I can't. This is how it must be. The unwhole must never become whole again. Go now, mortal. Trouble Praestagor no longer. Let me wait in vain and suffer in peace. Go. You can tell its decision is final. Try to take the skull by force? This seems like a really bad idea, but otherwise I think we're just like deciding to abandon the thing. Did we just die? Oops. Well, we'll be right back. Don't tell the dragon you're going to attack it. Hold on just a second. We're back. Okay, I did things a little differently this time, so I'm gonna scroll back so you can see what I did here. So we got down to... We asked the dragon about them. Obviously, it's Prestagor. We asked what the unwhole is. So Prestagor begins to tremble visibly, and then he suddenly shakes his enormous head and hisses threateningly. Apparently, it takes a great effort for it to speak. The unwhole, the one before the 10 came to be, the colorless, the imperfect, the prodigal. It wanted to rule, tyrant, it wanted to be. The prude wouldn't allow it, so we fought, and we won. The great dragon pauses, gathering strength. Its mortal husk fell, but not its essence, no. Its flame kept on burning, longed to return, using its remains as a focus. A decision was made to scatter it until a way is found to destroy it. But then came the war, and the golden one fell. The brood grew silent, and our charge forgotten. And still the unwhole longs to return, growing stronger by the day. So I think the unwhole is the dragon. It's not the golden one, I think. You don't really understand what the dragon means, nor are you entirely sure whether it is sane at all. Regardless, this does not bode well. So we tried to convince him to give it up. We told that Prestagor that his will was being eroded, so we should give the skull to us. And then we told him that we will strive to prevent the unwhole from re-emerging. And then we told them that we would still want to see the golden one resurrected. So now, Prestagor is okay with us taking the skull, I think. Yes, you might be right, mortal. It speaks. Indeed, I've been guarding it for long, too long, and for what? The brood won't come. Maybe it's time for destiny to take a different path, and I do wish to leave, to drift through the welkin once again. The dragon rises ponderously. There is a new kind of resolve in its movement. However, a determination that was lacking before. So be it then, it says with a much clearer voice. Meet me above. With that, it firmly clutches the skull with its enormous claws, its vast wings unfurling, spreading from wall to wall. One firm flap and Prestagor is up in the air, ascending through the shaft towards the surface. The gale of its flight almost pushes you and your companions off the stairs, and you believe to hear a triumphant but faint laughter. Or is that in your head? You follow Prestagor to the top of the chasm. Upon reaching the surface and exiting the dome, you are greeted by the open sky. A tall man with golden skin and hair and clad in golden robes. You've heard stories of dragons changing their shape or form, and Prestagor himself proves it indeed is in their ability to do so. The Leviathan skull lies behind his back in the dust. His voice still sounds tired as he speaks, although maybe slightly less so. Somewhat better now. Thank you, mortal. Is he still loud as a human? It's good that you came here to see the skies again. I almost forgot how I longed for it. You ask Prestagor what it intends to do next, and the dragon shifts to and fro impatiently. That shall not worry you. Take my leave from this accursed place, and after that, I do not know. Take the skull, mortal, and do with it as you please. I am weary of it. After a pause, it adds, I doubt we will meet again. There is a great flash of light and the robed man is gone, and you hear the flapping of enormous wings. Looking up, you see Prestagor in its dragon form again, flying higher and higher. It somersaults once or twice, beats its mighty wings, and then flies off north. It only takes a few short minutes before it vanishes between the clouds. Now take me home, small one, the Leviathan whispers ominously. You are on your own. Oh no, I forgot about the beasts of burden. I'm an idiot. Hold on, I'll be right back. And we're back. I have the appropriate beasts of burden now. We've fastened the skull to our beasts of burden. It is almost amusing to see how routinely your crew secures the gigantic skull for transportation. After all, this is not the first time they are performing such a task, yet the sight is no less impressive by any means. As the Comitatus slowly begins to haul its improbable cargo through the rocky valley, you perceive a whisper. Remarkable. It sounds delighted. Return to Camp Colossus. We've gained the great skull. Now the question is, we probably can't cut straight across the wasteland. 14 to 20 days. Yeah, we'll have to go back to Torzeg's shelter to get the appropriate supplies, and we're already kind of running low as it is. I almost wonder, I hope we run into like a Chakra horde or something that we could kill. But we might need to go hungry for a little bit on 50% rations, and then we can hit Kernak Way Station on the way back and try to get some supplies there. People are not gonna be happy. Probably 2 days out. No! Speak of the devil! Fight it. Defend equally. Actions. makeshift barricade, and then call their ranks. Heck yeah, we're gonna get some free food. It's a walking buffet. All right, A team. Good initiative. Swap with Gorgoro. Go for the weak one. And then Gorgoro, you rush forward. Try to weaken him up so Nadir can like get a double kill perhaps. How dare you? Stun this guy? The big guy. Because he'll do like a big yell that stuns everybody. And we don't want that to happen. Nadir, you missed the one. Well, you did kill the other one, so that's something. Hack this guy. He's gone. Here comes the roar. He got 4 of us and stunned 3 of us. So we'll have everybody else attempt to hold the line. Nadir, unfortunately, was one of the stunned people, but jump forward. Oops. There we go. And then Krifta should be able to take out the little one, and then we just have to deal with the one big guy. Or maybe, yeah, Harvick did it. Good job, Harvick. 8, great. You missed? How could you do this to me? We'll bring you back to the front. 1 fireball out of 2 hit. We've been mauled. And then he got knocked to the back again. Oh, silly. Why don't we swap you with Harvick? Because Harvick can actually swap with Nadir, and that'll work just fine. Because he can throw a dagger and go like this. And then you get an axe chop in there. Overwatch, perhaps? Or I don't know what she did there. Something. Double fireball. We'll just have her pass turn, I guess. Oops, I picked the wrong skill. It's a comedy of errors up in here. Yeah, why don't you switch with Skornar? It's not gonna be like the most efficient move, but I was gonna say, I hope we could kill him, but that didn't happen. There we go. Not too bad. Give me a lot of food. Also roll well, so I don't have people dead everywhere. Ren got murdered. Pursue is a 99. I failed on one of these like relatively recently, and I was kind of stunned. More wounded. All right, 2 successes. Give them time. We'll use some of our resourcefulness. Maybe we'll save this one fighter from himself. He did live. We lost 6 supplies, but we got 850. We're saved. Feast tonight, team. Most of our vigor is gone. So actually, let's take a little break. Get a little more vigor back. Hallelujah. Now we have 6 days again. That should be plenty enough to get us back to Torzags, I believe. We'll pop into here. See if there's anything to go back to the city. Kernak, Arkin. Aha! Some smuggling? Don't mind if I do. It's all weed! Of course it's weed. What else would it be? Near Leviathan's demise. 2 combat encounters. 330 is not something to laugh at. Tectum Kelvar. That was back where we were coming from. Fort Larius is out in the wasteland. Yeah, we don't really need to do those. I think that's fine. You don't even have any supplies. So we're just gonna hit the road. We'll take the weed with us. Try to smuggle it in. Maybe today will be the day that we get caught dragging a giant skull into Torzag shelter with 40 bales of weed, or however many it is. Let's get some more vigor going. Probably run into the tax man while we're out here. He's gonna charge us like an arm and a leg because we're hauling a giant dragon skull, and he's like, clearly you're rich. All right, just enough supplies. Thank God for the Jacques Horde. I summoned it into being. Trial to smuggle them in. We've succeeded. Don't pay taxes because we don't need to. Turn this in. And then we will sell just the random bits of stuff that we got. Now, do we have anything that we could take with us? I'm thinking either Vigilus Tower or Iasian Quarry. Otherwise, we don't really want to bring anything with us. So what is it? Lumen Devon. Eliminate? That's pretty easy. Would require 100 and some people. Let's take that one. At the very least, we can hit it on the way back. Near Leviathan's demise, 332. 3 combat encounters, no thank you. Still scrolling. Ooh, wow, 445. We need like a small army. Oh, it's Iasian Quarry. Yes. And I think that is it. And then near Leviathan's demise again. But 390, that's quite the battle. All right, we bought all the things we can. How are we doing on fighters here? We're like short on outriders. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then more fighters. 1, 2. I like to have the 25 and 10 seems to work pretty well. And we're still good on labor force, so that's fine. Cargo's pretty full. Okay, I think we're ready to hit the road. Well, why don't we rest just to get the free vigor from resting in the Manzio on the floor. We can send our dudes out because we have some spare movement, and they succeeded, so free money. All right, now we will leave. Goodbye. Out into the wasteland. We need to pop by Iasian Quarry. It looks like the Vigilus fight is up there. So maybe we'll hit that on the way back. Try to scavenge. It's a low chance. Yeah, I didn't think we'd be able to, but you never know. Use our little movement buff. I wonder if it's actually faster to go around the road that way. Because these are all 3, right? And these are all 2. I bet it is faster to go that way. Maybe next time we have to go this way. Leave an offering of food. We should take the other route and see how far do we get in 3 days. Because it took us 3 days to get right here. If I remember. I have the worst memory when it comes to like remembering to do things. Even as I'm saying them, I like forget. We've been ambushed? Oh no, wait, we could have ambushed, I see. I understand how this works. Alright, almost to the quarry. We'll probably... I don't remember them having a lot of supplies. But they might. If they do, we should buy whatever it is. The Bone Garden. Oh, they have some supplies. Not a great amount, but probably like a day's worth. Alright, turn all that stuff in. What is the Bone Garden? Purchase something. Oh, just Osculite charms. Don't we have some of these? We own 10. Yeah, we're good. We can leave. Let's rest in the quarry. Or, not the quarry. We'll rest in the Manzio. And we'll get the last of our vigor back today? Yes. Good. Buy the last tiny piddly amount of supplies. And then we go out into the desert. It'll be rough. We didn't get a ton of supplies from Tor's Egg Shelter, so we actually might need to... and they can't even rest. Let's go down to half rations. It's gonna make people annoyed, but... we need to get out there and get back without dying. Alright, one more day. It'd be cool if Kandek had some spare burgers or something. Alright. We're here. We've reached Camp Colossus. Deliver the Leviathan's second missing skull. And so unlikely as that may be, it comes to pass that you, a mere Vagrus, haul an enormous dragon skull into Camp Colossus for the second time. The reception is no less enthusiastic than the first time around. There are sights one simply cannot get accustomed to. While Candake jumps excitedly up and down, Levantius is there to give you directions where to deposit your trophy. Not that you need it, as it is pretty clear that its place is directly underneath the remaining empty neck socket. While your crew toils to drag the skull to its intended place, you walk up to Candake. At first, the researcher doesn't even seem to register your presence. Such is her amazement with this new success. You wait a little while she is regarding the Leviathan's now complete skeleton with an astonished stare. Then clear your throat. Candake twitches and finally realizes that you're standing right next to her. Oh yes, sorry Vagrus. You lose the great skull. She smiles shyly. It's just that I never would have believed it. I might witness this. Of course I hoped yet. Please, come to my tent. Let's discuss matters. Once again, you find yourself inside the researcher's tent, sipping wine poured by Levantius. As before, Candake leaves the flap of her tent open so she doesn't lose sight of the newly acquired skull. She can't keep herself from constantly gazing over your shoulder while you talk. So the vision was true! You found the valley? You nod. Candake grows more excited, if that's even possible at this point. So the Golden One sent us true visions. I knew it. Oh, please. You must tell me everything to the tiniest detail. And so you begin. You recount your journey, including the encounter with the dragon Praestagor and how it was guarding the missing skull. You do your best to cite the conversation you've had, but most of the time you have the impression that despite her insistence on telling her everything, she isn't listening half of the time, as if she was only interested in the bits that confirm her theory and presumptions. Glancing at Levantius, you can tell he is aware of that too. When you're finished, Candake leans back and lets out a long, contented sigh. Her smile is radiant. Good work, she says happily. Now only final preparations remain, and I can advance to the last stage of my research. Will you be joining me, Vagrus? To see all this the way through? Please, say you will. Assure her you will to the end. Voice your concerns regarding her theory. He did say the unwhole is a bad thing. At first, you struggle to begin. Candake sees your confusion, and her enthusiastic expression gives place to one of earnest worry. Does something trouble you, friend? You can tell me. As I said, every detail counts. You tell her you do not think of this ritual of hers as such a good idea. In fact, you know that the Leviathan isn't the skeleton of the Golden One, but something dangerous. Then you proceed to recount that Praestagor disclosed to you about the unwhole, how it was meant to be scattered and destroyed, how it still longs to return. Candake listens to what you have to say and then slowly shakes her head. No, she whispers. No, this surely can't be right. I did my research and it was all without mistake. That dragon you spoke to, that Praestagor, of whom no records speak, by the way, must have been confused. All that time spent alone, you yourself said he seemed mad, tortured even. No, Vagrus, the golden theory holds and I will prove it. Domina, maybe, Levantius begins, but his mistress interrupts him with a single tear shivering in the corner of her right eye. Her voice is ice cold. No, there must be no question about the golden theory. The only question here is, will you see this through the end with me, Vagrus, or will you abandon us? Are you determined enough in the cause of unearthing knowledge that may better the lives of many? If not, say so now and leave. We have to do the ritual, right? I can't just ditch her now. I have such a good friend in you, Vagrus, Candake says while patting your hand. It is only right that you shall be present for the coronation of this grand work of mine. Now, as I said, I will have to make some final preparations. Examine the new skull, calibrate the equipment, and the like. But this time it shouldn't take that long. I suggest you return in about 3 days' time. By then I should be ready for the grand ritual. Oh, and don't forget to take your due payment from dear Levantius. As the aforementioned assistant bows and leads you out of the tent, he hands you a pouch full of coin outside along with some other valuables. The last vestiges of her wealth. She did sacrifice everything for this, you know. There's a pause, as if Levantius was contemplating something. You will return for the grand final experiment, right? This seems to be going according to plan, yet, never mind. I worry too much. Leave them for now. We got dragon bone. Isn't that illegal? Candake's research site. Oh, right. We will leave the camp for now. So we need to head back because we're going to run out of supplies otherwise. But I think what I'll do is I will go run back to Torzeg's shelter and just load up on or maybe like run over to Lumen and just load up on supplies and then come right back so we can see the end of Candake's story. So for now, I'm going to leave the episode there. If you guys enjoyed, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus, the Riven Realms, or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!